Well, good afternoon and welcome to the Law and Crime Network. Do we have an afternoon show for you? You know, I'm Linda Kenney Baden, and it's nice to see you. I haven't seen you in 10 days. Nice to be back to my Law and Crime family, which you all are. No contest to 7 counts in criminal law, and we'll discuss what he gets in sentencing much later. But I want to introduce my guest today who can talk to us about it and explain what just happened. First, he was on with me first. I feel, oh gosh, he feel like he's family. Chad Young, hello, welcome back, Chad.
Hello, Linda.
You are a practicing lawyer in New York City?
Yes, it's always good to be here. Thanks for having me back.
And it's always good to have you on. And people can look up Chad on his website and see all about him, because it's so long I can't even go through it. The same with my other guest, Joseph Marrone.
How are you?
Joseph, you also have a website, right?
I have more than a website.
More than that. Trained trial attorney. Again, it'll take us the whole segment to go through your credentials, which we may talk about later on. I'm interested in some of the cases which may have an effect here. But why don't you tell me what a no contest plea is?
Well, basically, you're throwing yourself to the mercy of the court. He's admitting, he's looking for the biggest break he can possibly get due to the fact that, at least between him and his counsel, he knows that the evidence is overwhelming. So he decided to make a no contest plea, basically admitting to all the charges in the case, hoping to get leniency. In this case, it's a negotiated plea agreement of 25 years, a mandatory sentence with eligibility of 25 years, up to 30 years.
Yeah.
So that's what's happening
That's what's happening there. Yeah. So Chad, but why, if he's going to take responsibility, wouldn't you think he'd take more responsibility to say, hey, Judge, Your Honor, families, I did it, I'm guilty. Not that I'm no contest, I'm guilty. I actively remember doing this. As a matter of fact, I admit to it.
Well, there may be some reasons why he's not comfortable doing that. If the plea deal only sort of required him to say no contest, then he may not want to go beyond that. If he got, that's what seems to be under the circumstances, a very good plea deal. If he didn't have to take that extra step, it wouldn't be his own, he wouldn't want to do that of his own volition.
And Joseph, I just got the feeling when he's taking that, when the judge says, well, you know the names of these people now, and later on we'll listen to the prosecutor, that he didn't know the names of the people, that almost like he didn't want to admit to it. Did you get that feeling?
Yeah, I felt like the defense almost had to persuade him to make this plea, even though there's a big issue anytime anyone gives a plea, that they're doing it knowingly and voluntarily. The court definitely has to make sure that that is two of the elements, knowing and voluntarily. They're doing it of their own free will. No one's forcing them or coercing them. That evidence needs to be put on the record, because time and time again you see a lot of these defendants do a 180 and then they want to withdraw their plea. So the court has to make sure that's been solidified, even though listening to his plea, it's half-hearted. I mean, you can hear it. And I don't think that's going over well with the victims in the case and the families, but I think that's what's going to take to get this person to go through with it.
Yeah, you know what? I'd like to listen to a little bit more, if you listen all with me, to see whether our opinions change and whether or not he was forcefully admitting it or half-heartedly admitting that he killed someone and shot up a number of other victims. Let's listen. Well, there you have it. There was the plea, and it was kind of like Chad Young pulling it out of him. I am very uncomfortable, even though I believe that he is guilty, of watching him, because you saw even he took big gulps when he asked, has anyone forced you or promised you of this? What say you?
He also paused when the judge asked him, do you know that you could be deported if you're not a U.S. citizen? He also paused when his judge said, has your attorneys done everything that you asked them to do? Were you satisfied with your attorneys? He paused after every single one of those questions. One, we have to understand he's probably very nervous, so that could explain some of it. But also, is he second-guessing what he's doing? And are these questions by the judge making him think, wait a minute, am I doing the right thing here?
Right. And Joseph Marrone, your office is basically in Philadelphia, right? Giving you a little plug here.
That is correct.
Okay, we'll talk more. But one of the things that was really interesting, I thought, was that when they asked him, are you satisfied with your counsel? Now, he said, yes, sir, but he has had counsel in the past, and I have pulled it out. His original lawyer is missing. Since 2018, he was disbarred, missing. He was accused of some very bizarre crimes, one of which he was found not guilty of. Do you think that could have something to do with his gulping about the lawyers being satisfactory?
Yes and no. I think that he's a schooled criminal. I mean, he looks like to me he's trying to play the system. He asked the judge, can I still appeal, even though appealing on a plea is less than likely. Mm-hmm. He asked a lot of questions to try to set himself up. If there's a way, even though he knows he's kind of trapped into a box and it's in his best interest to make this plea deal, because if he goes to trial and loses, he's going to get life. But now he's trying to figure out a way, well, once I go to jail, can I somehow appeal this and somehow reverse this? And that's what he's thinking about. He's looking how to play. To me, he doesn't sound very, very contrite.
Interesting.
It looks like he's looking to play the system.
That's really interesting. So, Chad, but the one question that I have with you, he was asked, are you on medication? No. Okay. And that's easily confirmable because he's in jail. He's in pretrial arrest. Should you be? Now, how does the defendant know whether he should be, or have there been workups done, do you think, that we have not seen that the judge has seen?
Well, anyone that commits a crime like this, you would think they would need some type of mental health workup. I don't know enough about the case to know whether or not that was done prior to negotiating the plea deal, but in addition, when the judge asked him, aside from being on medication, the judge said, do you have any mental health issues? I forgot exactly how the judge worded the question. He paused. He asked the judge, what do you mean? And then the judge had to clarify, well, have you ever been diagnosed? I think that raises a big red flag of what's going on in this guy's head.
Wow, you know what? But you know what? You and I and Joseph, we all know that these things can come back later on a habeas corpus motion, because this is a kid answering, I give it my right to appeal. But did he really mean it? Did he have the mental capacity to? And we've seen it in the past, and we may see it in the future. But right now, guess what we have to do? Take one of those little breaks that pays the bills, and we'll be right back. Stay with us.